All right there, everyone. Are we seeing a pro-life revolution? Since 1991, an astonishing 79% of abortion clinics throughout the United States have been completely shut down. That is what we'll be talking about on today's video. But as always, a huge shout out to all of our first-time viewers. A very warm welcome to you. I post 2 videos a day analyzing current events in light of some really absolutely awesome conservative trends. So if you would, please smack that bell and subscribe button. It'll be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of our channel. We have some great news on the pro-life front, the pro-family front, which of course is part of a larger process that we refer to on this channel as retraditionalization, which is a very, very important part of nationalist and populist renewals. We'll get into that in a bit. It's being reported that the number of surgical abortion clinics in the United States has decreased from its all-time high water mark of 2,176 clinics back in 1991 to now only 467 clinics. That's a reduction of an astonishing 79% over the course of the last 27 years. The data was compiled by Operation Rescue that conducts an annual survey of abortion facility statistics. And they further found that 40 abortion clinics closed in 2018, which is part of a trend of over 150 clinics having closed since 2012. Since 1991, the annual number of abortions have been cut in half in the United States. In fact, from 2008 to 2014, the abortion rate dropped a full 25%. This is according to a report by the American Journal of Public Health. In 2008, there were nearly 20 abortions per 1,000 women, but in 2014, that number plunged to 12 abortions per 1,000 women. It's a dramatic reduction. And there have been more numbers released more recently by the CDC, the Center for Disease and Control, that suggests that the trend that we're seeing is continuing well into our time, which of course corroborates the Operation Rescue findings. Again, just to give you a sense of how dramatically successful the pro-life movement has been here in the United States, as we speak, there are now 6 states that are down to their last and final abortion clinics. 6 states have only a single abortion clinic. And when we widen that to 3 or less abortion clinics, that number grows to 17 states. In fact, nearly half of our states, 24 states, have 5 or less abortion clinics. In nearly 90% of America's counties, there is not a single abortion provider. It's primarily an urban phenomenon and is thus a highly localized or centralized practice. When we take into consideration the countywide distribution of abortion clinics, we really are seeing nothing less than the geographical disappearance of abortion from much of our nation. Now, just ask America's abortion providers. Their outlook on the state of abortion today and its access is nothing short of dire. They're panicked. Now, there are a number of factors as to why the abortion industry is receding so dramatically, but the key to it all has been pro-life activism and legislation. Again, just over the last year or so, 34 states, or 70% of the nation, have been considering banning abortion in some way, shape, or form. 25 states, that's half of the nation, have enacted what are called targeted restrictions on abortion providers, or better known as TRAP laws, which impose very strict requirements on abortion clinics that have had the effect of closing a number of abortion facilities in the states that have instituted such laws. A number of states have cut off funding to Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers. Landlords are refusing to renew leases for abortion facilities. We can go on and on in terms of the reasons. This is what a pro-life nation looks like. It's a collective effort by several different sectors in the population, concentrated around pro-life legislators and governors, and of course, our president, President Trump, all of whom come together to pursue the single goal of instituting a culture for a flourishing future. Now, having said that, I think there's something much deeper going on here. As I mentioned earlier, what we have to keep in mind here is that this resurgence in pro-life sensibilities is an intrinsic part of the nationalist and populist renewal that we're seeing going on throughout the world. For example, there are studies that demonstrate a clear connection between nationalist sensibilities and pro-life sentiments. Nationalist movements tend to be very, very pro-life in that they're, of course, interested in seeing the flourishing and preservation of the nation and its cultures, customs, and traditions. Moreover, Part of the dynamics inherent in globalization is the redefinition of the family in relation to what we call sovereign individuality. Whereas traditional societies are foundationally comprised of family, church, or some kind of faith institution, community, municipality, nation, and the myriad of customs and celebrations and songs and ceremonies and festivals that hold that whole social complex together. Globalistic societies render all of that a second-order social phenomena. The primary unit in a globalist society, generally speaking, is the sovereign individual. And the sovereign individual is a civic individual who has a host of rights securing his or her prerogatives to exercise maximum control over his or her own life circumstances. And this includes being able to choose your own career, or your religion, your spouse, your community, right, where you want to live, increasingly the right to migrate as per the UN Migration Charter. And of course, today, the right to choose your own gender and sexual orientation and gender pronouns and on and on. Now, the blowback against globalization that we're seeing with the resurgent nationalist and populist movements throughout the world almost all have a revitalized commitment to the traditional religions and customs and practices that characterize a pre-globalist, or in this case now a post-globalist world. So I think this is why, as we see the world moving more and more towards nationalist and populist political and cultural policies, we're seeing nothing short of a pro-life, pro-family spring going on throughout the globe in an effort to restore the foundational significance of family, church, community, municipality, and the like. And so recently, the Polish parliament proposed legislation that would have banned abortion entirely from the nation. Poland already has one of the most restrictive laws in Europe, allowing for abortion in only 3 cases: rape, the risk of the life of the mother, and serious malformations of the fetus. Now, while the proposed bill didn't pass, the Polish government continues to push for a new law that would be a near total ban. Another example is nationalist Russia. While the Soviet Union had one of the highest abortion rates in the world, the new Russia has turned increasingly pro-life. Vladimir Putin has banned abortion ads, signed legislation banning abortion after 12 weeks of pregnancy, and the Russian Orthodox Church is calling for an all-out ban of abortions. Just last year, the National March for Life came to Romania and Moldova, and an estimated attendance there was over 110,000 marchers. In fact, the first ever March for Life in Slovakia shattered expectations, drawing over 80,000 marchers. And of course, I would be remiss to fail to mention the upcoming World Congress of Families in Verona, Italy, where I'll be speaking, as well as the great Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini and the Moldovan President Igor Dodon. Verona is one of the number of cities in Europe that has designated itself officially as a pro-life city. Now, a pro-life city requires that public funding be provided to anti-abortion organizations and pro-adoption ad campaigns and the promotion of generally pro-life culture. I'll put a link down below for you for more information on the Congress in Verona. Matteo Salvini is one of the great champions of the pro-life movement, and he's come out and warned Italians that if they don't adopt a full-blown pro-life culture, Italians will be a minority population within their own nation in a matter of probably just 50 years. This is the beauty of what's going on throughout Europe and the United States. Because of the very serious fertility decline, nationalist governments are now effectively reversing that decline by implementing pro-life and pro-family policies. This is fundamentally why nationalist populist nations throughout Central and Eastern Europe and Russia, and now especially Brazil under Jair Bolsonaro, this is why they want nothing to do with the whole alternative lifestyle values of LGBT rights and the like. They see such efforts as nothing less than fatal to the future of their civilization. And so all of this is to say that the pro-life efforts since the 1970s are in fact paying off. Our nation, as well as much of Europe, is becoming more and more pro-life, so much so that I would predict that we are going to be a thoroughly pro-life civilization in a matter of just a decade or so. We'll keep a close eye on these trends, but with the growth of nationalist populism, we can expect these abortion statistics to continue to plunge in the years ahead. As always, please like, comment, and
days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, the Sabbath day. There's so much you can't do. These are the Sabbath hours. Oh, Sabbath day. Satan wants them to be sad. Oh, Sabbath day. Goodbye, gray sky, hello, blue. The Sabbath day is made for you. Day of rest, fellowship too. So much joy for you to choose. The Sabbath days are yours and mine. Oh, happy day. The Sabbath days are yours and mine. Oh, happy day. The Sabbath days are yours and mine. Sabbath days are yours and mine. Happy day.